Nickelodeon, home to the best, home to some children's shows. Most of us watched Nickelodeon to some extent when we were younger. All remember the classic cartoons like SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents, among others, as well as some of the classic shows like Drake and Josh, iCarly, and Henry Danger. Everybody that watched Nickelodeon at some point probably has some form of nostalgia towards the shows, including me. But I'll be the first to admit that looking back, some of the shows weren't really that good. But what exactly makes a show good? Well, different elements really. Things like the casting, writing, and music scoring, down to things like lighting and costume design. For a show to be good, all these elements have to be present at a good level. If a show has poor acting, the script won't save the show, no matter how good the writer is. Or if a show has great music, but the lighting is terrible, people won't rate it highly just for the music. Every element has to work together in harmony. But an element which seems to shine above the rest most times is characterization. A well-written character will always stick to your memory, whether you agree with their motives or not. The way the shows present their characters most times is different between a good show and a great show. Tommy Shelby, Reagan Arataka, Cersei Lannister. These are iconic characters across different shows that people enjoy to love or hate. You might not agree with the things they do, but you understand why. You might even find yourself relating with the characters sometimes. A good show will make you understand the actions of your character as seamlessly as possible. One of the best examples is Walter White in Breaking Bad. The series shows him at a low point in the beginning, and the audience sympathizes with his decisions that he makes because they understand why he's doing these things. But as the show goes on, his actions become more and more inexcusable until you realize that, I can't root for this guy anymore. What he's doing at this point isn't justifiable anymore. Everybody that's watched Breaking Bad made this exact realization at different points in the show. The show never explicitly said Walter White is good or Walter White is bad at any point. They simply told the story and showed the characters. They left the interpretation up to the audience. Saying Breaking Bad is a fantastic show at this point is a very cold take, but Nickelodeon shows aren't like Breaking Bad. Obviously, not every show has to be like Breaking Bad, but every show should make a conscious effort to be good, interesting, competent, watchable, but Nickelodeon, the acting can be mediocre, the writing can be very basic and dumb. Nickelodeon as a whole can get really, really corny sometimes. But ever since I started watching Nickelodeon, for as long as I remember, most of these problems have not really been a big deal for me. A problem that has always bothered me though is the characterization.
Okay, and now it's time to mess with Luber. There he is downstairs in the lobby. And now I'll use this walkie-talkie to call our friend Mark, who's waiting right outside the lobby.
What? Hey, who's this for? Hey, muffins? Well, don't mind if I do.
Let's hit it!
This is Newbert, a character in the popular Nickelodeon show called iCarly. The show presents him as a bad guy, and when bad things happen to him, you are meant to find it funny because he's a bad guy and that's just how it is. A character that suffers from a similar issue is Trina Vega from Victorious. Even when these characters make decisions that aren't inherently wrong, the show still makes them suffer because they are the bad guys and that is it. A different but similar version of this trope is when the good guys do terrible things and we are meant to find nothing wrong in it because they are the good guys and we're meant to be on their side no matter what. This, in a nutshell, is Nickelodeon's main character problem. These tropes I just mentioned are often present side by side in Nickelodeon shows, but the biggest culprit that I remember, and the show I'll be using as an example today, is the Thundermans. The Thundermans was a Nickelodeon show that premiered in 2013. It was directed by Dred Springhan before later being directed by Dan Schneider. The premise of the show was that Hank Thunderman and Barb Thunderman, a superhero couple, retired and moved their family from Metroburg to live a normal life in Haydenville. They all get on hilarious hijinks trying to fit into a normal neighborhood and lifestyle. The family is made up of the aforementioned parents of Hank and Barb, the twins Phoebe and Max, who have identical powers of telekinesis, heat breath and ice breath, Billy Thunderman, a boy with super speed, and Nora Thunderman, a girl with laser eyes. The two characters of interest, however, here are Phoebe and Max. Phoebe is a typical goody two-shoes girl that is interested in getting good grades and working towards becoming the best superhero. She is the good guy trope. Max is a typical bad egg who who only cares about inventing wacky gadgets and becoming the greatest villain ever. He is the bad guy trope. So now that we have the basic information, let's look at 3 different episodes and analyze the action and how the show judges them. Now, before we start the talking and analyzing, I want to say something. I have no problem with the Nickelodeon show meant for kids having lessons and morals. That is not what I'm criticizing at all. Having morals in your show is perfectly fine. But when your show ignores all the bad things the character does and punishes another character for their own bad decisions, there's a problem, there's inconsistency. But enough of that, let's start at season 1, episode 2, Phoebe vs. Max. The episode starts on yearbook picture day. Phoebe is excited to take a picture, but Max pranks her as she's about to take it, dousing her in chocolate, then cheese. When the twins go home, Max is reprimanded by Hank and Barb and is given a punishment of 2 weeks without his phone. Phoebe raises Max in the air and drops him, and this is very funny. The B plot is about Billy and Nora fighting over trash chores. As interesting as that sounds, we are not going to focus on that. Anyway, Phoebe later pours cooking oil on the slide to Max's lair in an attempt to prank him, but Billy uses this instead and it goes through a wall. This is very funny because it's Phoebe. Phoebe vows to think of a better prank, but Max pranks her the next day instead, moving her bed to school, so she wakes up inside the school, just as the students were coming out of their classes. Now I have a quick question. How did this prank work? Does Phoebe sleep until the first class is over every morning? That won't make any sense. Isn't she a perfect student? With Phoebe embarrassed, goes back home, and Barb tells her she should respond however she thinks is necessary. So she decides to prank Max for real this time. Max goes home and receives a call from Dark Mayhem, Max's supervillain idol. Max is skeptical at first, but Dark Mayhem proves his authenticity by flashing the lights. Sensational. Max is excited to finally join the League of Master Villains, but Dark Mayhem tells him he has to pass the test first to prove his loyalty, and the test is for Max to wear a clown bra, grass skirt, and flower bangles. And surprise, surprise, it was Phoebe all along, as Max just got pranked good. The next scene shows Phoebe at home, reveling in the joy of her awesome prank, when a delivery comes for their house. It's for Max, and the delivery consists of 1,000 live crickets, 6 sledgehammers, 3 gallons of itching powder, and 1 barrel of radioactive waste. Over the next couple of days, Phoebe is on edge, waiting for whatever Max will do to her. She even pours a bucket of dirty water on a random dude's head. Very funny. The pressure gets unbearable for her and she asks Max to end the prank wars. Max declines and Phoebe decides to press random buttons on his desk in an effort to pressure him into agreeing. Very rational, by the way. She then presses a button that activates a self-destruct protocol, and Max is panicking. She then takes accountability by blaming it on Max, telling him that if he stopped pranking her, they won't be in this situation. But she was the one that had the last prank, and she was the one that pushed the button. She's not making it. Anyway, Phoebe destroys Max's computer with a sledgehammer, saving the day and ending the prank wars. I'm sure you are starting to see my points already, but let's continue with season 1, episode 4, report card. The episode starts when Phoebe enters Max's room, telling him he's making too much noise while she's studying for her math bowl. Max tells her the rocket he's building is more important, and Phoebe retaliates by launching the rocket into space. Very funny. The B plot is Hank and the other kids trying to stop a newspaper thief. Again, I'm not going to talk about that. Anyway, Phoebe teases Max about his low math grades, saying she's smarter than him in math. And this prompts Max to sneak into the school records office and change his grades in time for report card day. The next day, Hank and Barb read their results and Phoebe gets 5 A's and a B, while Max gets straight A's. He also gets transferred to Honor's math class, the class Phoebe is in. Max confesses to Phoebe that he changed his grades, and Phoebe tells him to transfer out because the class will be too challenging for him. Wait, why does Phoebe assume Max is dumb in this episode? Max is the same guy that was building a rocket at the beginning of the episode, by the way. Sorry, I think I lost a massive plot hole. Anyway, Max takes the challenge on, and the next day, Max convinces the Honor's math teacher to make him captain of the second math bowl quiz team, so he'll face off against Phoebe and beat her. A bunch of irrelevant stuff happens, but finally it's Matt's ball day. Phoebe convinces Max to agree on a bet that if she wins, Max has to drop out, but if Max wins, she has to wear a dumb shirt. Phoebe seems really desperate to get rid of Max. I wonder why. They battle in the Matt Bowl until a tiebreaker, and Phoebe apologizes to Max for calling him dumb earlier. Wow, that's nice, Phoebe. For once, he took accountability. But of course, she then tells him he's ruined the class for her. How? Is it because he's better at her in maths? That is the flimsiest thing I've ever heard. But of course, she's the main character, so Max feels bad for her and loses the maths bowl on purpose and drops out of the class. Then this happens.
Just want to say that I know you got that last question wrong on purpose.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Fine, I did, but only so I could get out of your class of nerdlings and back to my old one. Numbers and stuff.
Well, it was still a really nice thing to do.
Whatever. It's not like you knew the answer anyway.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Ugh, I knew you would ruin this moment. And don't say no, you didn't, because you will regret it.
No, you didn't.
That's it. Hit it, guys!
This episode somehow made Max look like a villain for doing nothing wrong to Phoebe. Phoebe is mad because Max is smart enough to be a honors roll student and share the same class with her. Max drops out for her graciously, and the show still makes him the butt of the joke. I remember watching this as a kid and I was so mad how they did Max dirty here. And watching it for this video, my feelings haven't changed at all. But we are not done yet. There's one more episode to talk about, and that is season 1, episode 8. You stole my thunder, man. Phoebe is running for freshman president and convinces Max to help her look good in her speech by asking her questions. After Phoebe's speech, however, Max expresses his disappointment at the candidates, saying they didn't really talk about the real issues facing students in Hiddenville High. The students cheer him for this and he ends up becoming freshman president. Phoebe becomes the vice president instead. In the B plot, I do not care. The next day, Phoebe offers Max her ideas to tell the principal in the upcoming meeting because she thinks Max won't take the job seriously. This idea is being rolling backpacks because backpacks are too heavy, healthy snacks in the vending machine, and hugs from the mascot to raise school spirits. Max tells Phoebe he's not doing any of that, but he follows the idea format anyway, making books available for download to eliminate backpacks entirely, changing the vending machine to a smoothie machine, and high fives for the mascot. Phoebe gets mad because Max stole her ideas, but she offered him the ideas. And what Max did technically weren't her ideas. Anyway, Phoebe has had enough and decides to eliminate Max by poisoning him. Yep, remember, she's the good guy here. She gets cold feet before Max arrives to eat the poisoned pizza she made. And as she's about to throw the pizza away, she accidentally causes Max to fall down his slide, which is full of rocks. Yeah, I'm still not going into the B plot. Max gives Phoebe the presidency because he won't be able to be an effective president with all his bones broken. How convenient. Nora accidentally reveals to Max that Phoebe indirectly caused this accident, and Max plans to revenge on Phoebe. On the day of the smoothie machine unveiling, Max sneaks into school to watch his prank live, but Phoebe tells the whole school she caused Max injuries, and Max decides that the apology from Phoebe is enough and stops Phoebe from ordering a smoothie, which would have resulted in this.
That doesn't sound very healthy.
These 3 episodes I just talked about showed in many ways Nickelodeon's poor characterization. Because Phoebe is already predetermined to be a good guy and Max is already predetermined to be a bad guy, the show treats all their actions, no matter what they do, as things they do because of where they align on the moral spectrum. Phoebe can destroy a children's hospital, and the show will find a way to justify it. Max can cure world hunger, and the show will still find a way to make it look bad. Fun fact, that actually happened in season 1, episode 3, Science Fair. This gets stale very fast. No one cares about two-dimensional characters. In fact, a lot of characters that are people's favorites have clear flaws that affect them. But if your character has no flaw, and everything they do is perfect, that is an issue. Siding a character in a show in an effort to raise the character higher only makes the audience careless about the character and the show. Nickelodeon aren't the only ones guilty of this. Another show that does something similar is Grownish, but that's a discussion for another day.